Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, radio has been called theater of the mind, so let's tell a story with sound effects. Wow, it's like I was in the story. Almost makes me forget this was supposed to be about saving big with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Did you guys know there's a medication that is proven to treat migraines and prevent episodic migraines in adults? It's called Nurtec ODT, Rimegepant 75 milligrams. If you suffer from migraine attacks, talk to your doctor to see if Nurtec ODT is right for you. Don't take if you're allergic to Nurtec ODT. The most common side effects were nausea, stomach pain, and indigestion. For important safety prescribing and patient information, visit NURTEC.com.
Hi, everybody. Ed Mann here, executive producer of the Real Brady Bros podcast. We are so thankful that you're with us today, and this is going to be a great one. It's a great Q&A with some terrific questions that we've gotten at the Facebook page for the Real Brady Bros. It's the handle on that one is at Real Brady Bros, at Real Brady Bros. And I urge you guys to always submit questions. The guys are thrilled to answer them, and I'm very happy to host these two guys on this Q&A number 4. It's Barry Williams and Christopher Knight. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Nice to be with you. You know what I love about the fans that are paying attention to the Facebook and submitting these questions is it's not like, what's your favorite color, what happened to the dog. They're really insightful and involved kinds of questions that make me think.
They are. They really are. I mean, the fans that you guys have accumulated over the years, and not just the fans from back in the day, I mean, younger fans really want to know what's going on with you guys and what's happening and what happened on the show. The questions are very to the point, I must say.
It's been 50 years, and we have for 50 years learned from our fans about, the nature of the Brady Bunch, what it's meant to them, and ultimately, its cultural significance. And I understand we have a fan today who's going to teach us more about stuff that we've learned incorrectly. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently we're fallible, Chris. Make mistakes.
That's right.
What? How does that happen? That is so un-Brady-like.
I am so sorry. It was my fault. That's what you call quick internet search, single source.
You don't need to fall on the sword. I went with it. We both talked about it.
Hey.
Why would we? Well, Ed, tell us what it is.
Here's the deal. We're leaving them in suspense. What happened was you two guys discussed an episode's writer in one of the earlier podcasts.
Harry Winkler.
Right.
Right.
That was correct.
Yeah.
What was said, though, was that Henry Winkler was somehow related, the famed Henry Winkler Fonzie.
It was his father. That's what we said.
Right. And it turns out his father was named Harry as well, but Henry's father was a businessman, like a wood salesman in New York, and not a Hollywood writer. Two different Harry Winklers. Who knew?
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
This is another good reason to not assume. Because not only did we assume that this Harry Winkler was related to Henry Winkler, but we assumed that this Harry Winkler was his father when it could have been a cousin or it could have been a
we didn't just
uncle
assume it. We didn't assume it going on in. Literally, it wasn't on my notes. It was one of those things that I never had time to research, but I thought, hey, that's interesting. I wonder if there's any relation between Henry and Harry. And then as we were recording our podcast, did a quick little internet search sort of out of one eye, and there it is. Yes, Harry is Henry's father, without being able to multiple source it to find out if this was correct or not. So it was not really vetted, but it wasn't, we wondered, and then there's an answer that in a moment clears up the wonder wrongly. It fictionalizes.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we got it figured out rightly, because Henry and I are friends and we bump into each other, every so often. And I was going to take this to him and go, "Hey, did you know?" And he would look at me like I absolutely lost my mind.
No, Barry, no.
It is something you can blame on the internet.
Check that again.
It is definitely that. So we're sorry to our fans out there.
You got to wonder how many times he's heard that before.
Yeah, maybe, because if Harry's a Hollywood writer, why wouldn't he have? And he was writing for a mutual studio. Very likely he's aware of.
So just like William Shatner doesn't know how many decks there were on the real Enterprise. We are only actors and only know our show to a certain depth, and our fans probably have more understanding of it than us.
Isn't that interesting? Right there, that's an interesting question. You got to wonder, wow, how is it that fans of a program may understand more about the program than the actual key actors in the program? But hey, these folks pay attention. They dig deep. And
well, for us, it was, what did the Brady Bunch mean? It meant hitting a mark and saying our lines in a certain number of takes. For our audience, it meant companionship and all these other things that are about family that we are the actors have had to refocus on. And that's part of this podcast for Barry and I, is to watch the shows and actually look at the shows, sometimes for the first time in 50 years, with the eyes of our audience, as a consumer of the entertainment, to understand why it is that it still exists and is still adored in the way that it is.
Right. And I approach this, Chris, as with the idea that what's on television is really kind of two-dimensional. And as we have had the privilege of being there and living through it and experiencing it, we bring together the third dimension and the depth of what it meant and how it got to be on the screen.
That's okay. There you go. That's a third dimension.
Let's jump in, guys.
All right.
Our first questioner. This is like, as if she's Helen Thomas from the UPI asking 40 questions of the president.
Oh, but it's a good question.
But it's a good one.
Because it's going to be a different answer from Barry and I.
It might be, yeah.
Usually is.
Okay, Lisa is her name. There's like a litany of questions within the one paragraph, so we'll just take a couple at a time and take them in bites here. What was your celebrity life like then, during the Brady years, versus now, and how did and do you feel about it?
Well, that is indeed 5 questions in one. Celebrity life at the time for me, it was, I found it kind of exciting. I didn't really understand how impactful the show was being until we toured as the Brady Kids in concert, and we were selling out at fair dates, and we were playing all kinds of great rooms, including Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace and the Steel Pier and Atlantic City, and there was a real kind of fandom about it, and the screaming and being chased and that kind of thing, and I thought that was great fun. Now, how do I deal with it now? Well, that doesn't happen so much anymore. So I really don't have to worry about reacting to it. It was great. And truthfully, it was terrific as a teenager. But I enjoy my sometimes anonymity. This is one of the things over the last 2 years with COVID and the mask. It's been kind of nice walking through hotel lobbies in some ways, and and being anonymous, even in my own grocery store here in town.
Yeah, what about you, Chris?
I did not like it. Did not like it at all back then, the notoriety and what came along with it. This is when my friends say that their son or daughter is, so cute and they should be in show business. And I reflect back on, you don't really have an idea of what you're getting yourself into on the positive side, let alone the negative side. Negative being you never work, or your child never works, and what that does to them psychologically, but that your child becomes a success. Because that kind of focus, I don't think is terribly healthy for a young kid. Your world becomes small. I literally, short of getting hives, I never wanted to be in public. If I saw 2, 3 girls or more walking, I'd walk the other way. 1 girl, not a problem. 2 became a problem. 3 was absolutely have to go the other way, because the amount of strength that one gives the other made for a public display. And then I'm pointed out, and then once that's out of the bag, that's like a cat out of the bag. The experience is not mine anymore. It's everyone else's. And short of it being also like the Beatles running from their fans, it's like that, lower wattage. But I just didn't like the attention. And also at the age that I was at when the Bradys first came on, I was going into 7th grade. Now, 7th grade, it's its own big leap here in California. It's where junior high begins. You leave the nest of your elementary school, the very first school that you began making friends into a new environment. And so for seventh graders, we called them scrubs, or, they were always subject to everyone else that was at school that was older than you. You're taking the brunt of it normally. And then when you come in and you're recognizable, they think that you sort of want to be special. And of course, kids at that age don't like anyone thinking of themselves as special. So, it became
if I can
difficult.
interrupt, it seems like there's a lot of thinking going around for a young man like you. In other words, you got two girls coming toward you. Maybe they just want to say hi.
No, they don't. No. They start screaming and squealing, and then they make a scene, and you're wanting to be really quiet. Right there, you want to anybody, let me alone.
Oh, no. Speak for yourself.
But this is where Barry and I are different. Barry liked that kind. I'm watching it when I watched the show. In the first, I was an introverted kid, so anything external was very upsetting to me, and I walked.
Yeah, I like to walk toward the fire, and if there are 3 girls instead of 2, run.
Right, the bigger the crowd, the more comfortable Barry became. It was just the inverse for me. So yeah, it was a struggle. And now, today when you're an adult, people act a little bit more, they behave more moderately. So, but celebrity is completely different now than it was then. Celebrity is an industry. If you remember, Barry, there wasn't all these celebrity mags. There wasn't all the social media surrounding celebrity. There wasn't celebrity being a celebrity. I mean, you were a celebrity because you were on a television show. If you weren't on a television show, or had an album, you weren't a celebrity. You couldn't make yourself into one.
No such thing as an influencer.
No. So
no, that wouldn't be the thing. But the other question she asked is this, and this is interesting because both of you have significant others. How is it for your spouses?
I don't think it's fair. I think
question's not fair.
Was alluding to. No, what Chris was alluding to is the amount, the inordinate, the exorbitant amount of attention that goes toward one person is, for the person, for your partner. Oftentimes they're overlooked, disregarded, not listened to, not looked at, and I understand that because the person is making a connection with their idea or their experience of who I am, and so sometimes just basic civilities can be overlooked.
I'll tell you, the most embarrassing moment, and it's repeated throughout my childhood, is you happen to be with family, or like my brother. Somebody recognizes you and looks to him, are you somebody? I mean,
actually,
it is. I mean, I was always running from my brother like he was trying to kill me growing up, but that was one instance, or the multiple times that it happened, that I didn't have to bear that. He didn't make me responsible for them being callous, rude in asking that question. But sometimes they're naive. They're too young to even understand the weight of that question and what is that person supposed to say? Yeah, I'm somebody, but not the way that you're thinking of somebody.
I'll share something with you, Chris, that and this helps to keep it in perspective for me. I've been asked, hey, didn't you used to be somebody?
Well, now that's
truly. I mean, they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out how they know or familiar and put something. So yeah. So like, didn't you used to be important? Didn't you used to be somebody that I would see? So weren't you a somebody at one point or something?
Right.
In the past?
And that's a construct in their own mind. And I understand that. And that's why you have to let that be water off a duck's back. But the fact is, it's embarrassing for you in your family life, for your family. It makes you not want to be with your family members for their sake, because you're going to get all this attention and they're not. And how fair is that? There's a lot of burden in it in that kind of recognition, and it's what I've learned over time is that there's a lot of value in anonymity.
Well, there is, and I don't think that all of being recognizable is a downside either. I mean, it opens up a lot of conversations, a lot of familiarity, a lot of closeness, a lot of opportunity to reach out and be connected. I have been both you and I, Chris, and our Brady mates have been very, very privileged in many ways as a result of being famous. But it's not always good all the time.
I think the reaction varies so much. If you look back, there's two very famous talk show hosts, Johnny Carson and David Letterman, neither of whom liked to socialize comfortably with other people. They were both very reticent to have even so much as a conversation at a party. But you put them, on camera with a light on them, and they turn into Noel Coward.
Because there's a barrier. There's a safe distance of a barrier between them and the interpersonal that really isn't interpersonal. Because the person that's in front of them is treating them as they're something other than a person, maybe to the point where they don't even know how to be interpersonal anymore, and are only performing themselves. It's just weird. I mean, but look at today. Look at today. How is it different? It literally has evolved to every individual can be a star themselves through their Facebook, through their likes. Their value is how many likes they've got or how many followers they have. You don't have to be a star and be somebody in the ways we were asked that question, be a celebrity on a TV series today. It's literally the same kind of pressures to be somebody that has likes or followers, and that makes you somebody. And I do believe it's all a little twisted. That there is no value to anonymity. Literally, if people don't know who you are, it's as though you don't exist, and it shouldn't be that way. People exist regardless of how many likes or followers they have.
Now, might not go quite that far, but I think there is a disproportionate sort of value placed on
celebrity,
social platform recognition.
Right. Stephanie asks, actually, she's not asking something here. She's making more of a statement, but this gets into a whole cultural, ethos that you guys might want to comment on. And if you don't, feel free not to, but it's more of a statement than a question. The guys went over an episode where they called Greg creepy, or somebody had called Greg creepy, and I don't think there's anything creepy about Greg at all, she says.
Apparently, I said that about the Greg character in a certain scene, but I can't recall which
episode. Was that Cincinnati Kids? Was it Cincinnati Kids, Marge? Or was it Hawaii, when I was putting the suntan oil on a...
I think that's what it was. It was just the forwardness of that. And this woman who writes this question apparently is likening it to pursuit, like afraid that if you're not allowed to pursue her, she likes being pursued, and she
says she likes to be pursued,
right.
and he's simply a confident teenager who wanted to pursue a cute girl.
Great, except for if she was on a beach and somebody just came up and started rubbing her with suntan lotion without introducing himself. I still think it's a little creepy.
I mean, Greg did ask her, right? If I could help, if he could help out and make sure that her back didn't burn, and just kind of being a caretaker and careful.
I'm sorry, I'm a product of this new world, but I think that touching someone before learning their name is the wrong order.
Well, I've had varying degrees of success with that technique throughout my life. There's some are a little more amenable to that approach than others, but I try and be very cautious. And now, not at all, because I
thank you for being
faithfully married.
So I think that it's a matter of degrees. I'm not saying that men shouldn't pursue ladies. Absolutely not.
Just because you run from them doesn't mean that others.
I gotta tell you, man, it became a joke. It became a joke in my world and in my life. Now but
the only point was about Greg. Sometimes actions are speak louder than just words or small talk, and I don't think it was creepy either. So there you go.
There you go.
All right.
Sometimes intentions don't meet actions, and sometimes they're misinterpreted, and that's the culture we live in. Yeah. Linda asks a nice question that I think that I'd like an answer to as well. This last episode that you were talking about the male and female perspective, it'd be great to hear how the girls felt about some of the storylines and how they differed from the way the guys felt about them.
Well, sure, but this is the real Brady Bros, so
we'd have no idea how they felt. I mean, other than knowing that Susan didn't like having to play somebody who was young and lisping, because she was very bright, much brighter than they played her character. Outside of that part, the whole male-female thing, at the time we were doing it, I don't think we were even conscious of it. It was boy versus girl. I mean, hell, I gave Maureen holy hell, teasing her, because in my world, she was a girl, and they had cooties, right? So you had to somehow put them in their place. You teased them.
That could be, but I wanted some of hers.
Yeah.
Cooties.
I know you wanted to catch cooties. You understood it from a much more mature level than I did.
Well,
Alyssa asks, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barry. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, I just said it didn't seem to me that it had to do with a maturation level. I was sort of always angled that way.
I'm fascinated by you, Barry, because I wonder what you must have been like at 6, because there's a natural progression that you go through where girls and boys sort of naturally or sort of they
I'll tell you exactly. At 6 years old, first grade, I was dancing in the living room of a girl in my class. Her name is Pat. I was completely smitten with her, and we would dance and around, run around and jump and stuff like that. And then we would go in and lay down together and take a nap.
You ever have a concept of
At 6.
cooties? Because it wasn't made by me,
No.
right? Never.
No.
So you missed that whole thing, or did they
Missed
talk about it and that you just went over your head, or you didn't? You said no.
Couldn't relate.
No.
Couldn't
I mean,
relate.
there's that kind of barrier. Boys and girls, they kind of band together and go through that sort of a period of time that you never went through.
Well, a lot of our episodes are based on exactly what you're talking about. Boys versus girls.
True. And you never had a sister to know how to deal with that at all.
No, I could play that they had cooties, but as soon as the director said cut, I was going, "Hey, Maureen, come on, go find a corner of the soundstage or something."
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I mean, one of these days we'll talk about what was on your dressing room door.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we will.
No, it doesn't.
That could
Mom,
be fun.
I didn't know Barry was, into trees.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is like, you know what? We're not going to keep them in suspense now that you've opened up that can of worms there. It was like a poster, bumper sticker, thing, a saying, a little cute little saying, and I thought it was funny. I really did think it was funny, and I put it in my dressing room. Go ahead, Chris. Tell him.
His dressing room, by the way, by the 5th season, I think it was the 5th, Barry had outdistanced his brethren. They demanded that his dressing room be on the stage with Florence and Bob's.
And
up to that point, he was out with the rest of us in a trailer out in the alleyway outside the stage. So Barry
sharing
did have his dressing room at this point on the stage, and he then started, dressing it with bumper stickers, one of which read, "Save a tree, eat a beaver." To which I walked by, being, very much a kid who wanted to save the environment, not seeing Barry as the same as me in that regard. And with that bumper sticker, I turned to my mom. I said, I didn't know that Barry was into the environment. And I don't remember what my mom said. I don't think she said anything. And I was 15, almost 16.
By the way, Chris, I think you should understand now that I insisted that I have a dressing room on the soundstage, not because I was sharing with you. It was so that I could give you and Michael more space. So that's why I did
This
that.
is, yeah. Right, great.
And have
so
my own
to
dressing
everyone
room.
out there, this is his lack of
bounds.
sincerity
Yeah.
now being poured on you.
I just don't think you had the correct perspective on that until now.
Barry never wanted to be one of the kids. He always wanted to be one of the adults. And he became more vociferous with this as the show entered its later years. Right?
We had a
Wow.
lot.
So
Yeah,
this is the- this is
Guys
my-
are answering questions that aren't even
And,
there.
and this is my point from the very beginning. Maybe when he was 5, because he had older brothers, he never saw himself as a kid. The whole kid thing in Barry
And cooties.
is, I enter when he's 14, already in his mind, driving, smoking, very much an adult. Didn't need his mom around. He was already, he was 21.
But he was still going to get lectured by Mike and Carol. It didn't even matter what age he was.
Yep. I sat for the lectures.
That wasn't going to stop. One last question, guys. This is a short
Okay.
one. And
There are no short questions.
Apparently
there
not.
might be short questions. There are no short answers.
the answers never seem to be truncated at all. Alyssa asks, and this is the second time she's asked this. So let's see if this.
Okay.
I
If
seem
she
to
has to ask it
remember
twice, let's see if we can get
this being discussed, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
I would love to hear the favorite interactions with fans over the years. which you can include in this answer, of course. And the Father of the Year episode, Chris says that there's another episode with a curse word, but he wasn't sure which one. It's The Hustler. In 6 minutes, and Greg says, damn. And I don't think he was referring to beavers. So what's...
You see, but in the same way, I think he was trying to get away with it.
You know what I mean? So, well, go on, guys. Give us your short / long answer.
Maybe they cut out beaver. He meant beaver dam. Okay. Barry, do you remember the Hustler episode was Bobby gets a pool table or something, or becomes
ends up in the carport? Is that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the 5th season, is it not?
I mean, did I say that or not? I don't know. I would have to look.
We haven't.
Not intentionally, I'll tell you that. I wouldn't do it for national television.
And if it's in and it is damn, it's something everyone missed because they would have found a way to remove it or put a word in over it. Like I believe in Father of the Year, I think in Father of the Year, what the hell's going on here? And I think it's ultimately, you listen to it, it's heck. Whether or not heck was put in over hell, it's one of those moments. When they say ad lib, sometimes stuff comes out. Barry intimated, a couple weeks ago about having said, Eve, in a group scene
instead of
Jan. And that happened with some kind of frequency. And on these occasions, it slipped through. Maybe damn did. Barry was saying damn, in other words, teaching us all.
Sometimes to you.
Right. Damn you. So it's very possible, and it got left in. But we won't know, and we'll go over that when we do The Hustler.
Okay. We'll get to that one, that's for sure. Right. Guys, what a great Q&A. Number 4, probably the best. Everyone I do, I think, is the best. It's terrific. And it's always wonderful doing this with you guys.
Whenever we get to talk about Barry's dressing room being on the stage, it's going to be a good one.
Oh, boy. No shrinking
sitting on the hot seat after all these years, huh?
That's it. That's it, guys. Q&A number 4 is in the can.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned to your favorite podcast distributor for more Real Brady Bros. And the Facebook page, once again, to ask questions is always the best way to go, at Real Brady Bros. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Brady on.
A Fortune Forecast update brought to you by the Ohio Lottery.
Well, hey there, Ohio. We're tracking a lot of jackpot activity over the next few days. We have Rolling Cash 5 and Lucky for Life in the forecast the entire week. But we also have major drawings for Powerball moving in, followed by scattered Mega Millions drawings through the week, with some classic lotto drawings popping up here and there as well. There are big drawings every day, so stay tuned to the Fortune Forecast Center for the latest jackpot developments.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Please play responsibly.